What's up, guys? This is Jalal McKenzie. I'm here bringing you guys another video. Today we're going to talk about this guy named Gary V. This is an interesting character that I've seen over the internet for like the past couple of months. People sending me motivational videos about this guy and the things that he's saying. And pretty much what I gather from the things that he says in these videos, he spouts a lot of nonsense. He doesn't really have a lot of substance to what he's saying. He doesn't back up his statements with empirical data. And a lot of it's just BS. And you're gonna see it with this video and this other one that he made with A-Rod. The biggest thing this guy like rants about is college. Rants about college all day long. College isn't for everybody, which I agree. College is for everybody, right? Um, there are some issues with college, but to completely say, hey, do not go to college is pretty ridiculous in my opinion. There are other ways to sort of minimize the impact that college will have on your pockets. Um, Things such as industry certifications that can count as college credits, that can cut down your credit hours, so that when you do decide to attend college, you're not spending as much money out of pocket. Also building up your resume, working yourself to a position where you can make enough to go to school. So different things like that. You can accumulate industry certifications and get a well-paying job, making 20, 25 bucks an hour, and pay for like a community college and pay your way through it. You can even go to university that's not too expensive. But these aren't the tips that they will tell you, right? They'll just tell you college is a scam because they're trying to promote this narrative of they're quote unquote hip. They're trying to appeal to a lot of angry college students, right? A lot of younger angry college students that feel like they've been duped by the system because they haven't developed a level of understanding to know what they wanted to do in their life before they went to school. And that's the biggest issue. A lot of younger people, especially around my age, if you guys don't know, I'm 22 years old. A lot of people from the age of 18 to about 24 went into school without doing the proper research. And that's the issue. A lot of parents aren't telling their kids about school because they're not educated as well. And a lot of students aren't taking it upon themselves to do the research of, hey, what do I want to do with my life instead of wasting 2 to 3 years in school, majoring in nothing, and throwing all this money down the drain and accumulating debt, right? These are the things that these people won't tell you. Guys like Gary Vee and all these other guys on the internet telling you college is a joke. Listen, you need to be able to discern that for yourself. You need to be able to evaluate whether this degree and this major is going to make you a lot of money, right? So it's about doing the research. If you guys don't know about this guy, his family were immigrants. They came into America, I believe, in the 1980s, 1990s. They had their own business, right? It was a retail wine business that when he became 22, he grew it from, I believe, $3 million to $60 million quickly. He's also Jewish. That's something to take into account as well. So all this nonsense about him saying that he was dead broke, how he came from nothing. No, got to understand when you're 16, 17, back in that time, you weren't really making a lot of money. You were living off your parents. All right. So when he says that, it's not representative of him in his adult life. He's been pretty successful in everything that he's been able to do in his adult life. This is a guy that is a master of the internet. He's a master of the internet. You guys got to understand that. This is a guy who's been on record saying that he spent more than 12 hours a day on Twitter. I believe this is around 2008, 2009 when he said that as well. When he was on record saying, hey, I spent more than 12 hours on Twitter. And this guy developed a great understanding of how social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, things like that, how they operated. So he was able to promote himself and his brand very well. And he has a lot of popular books, which I haven't given a read yet, but I should pick up some of his books to see more of his views, get a little bit more insight into his mindset beyond the videos. Because he does spout a lot of nonsense in his videos. But you need to understand, this is a guy that's come from something. All right. So we're gonna watch this video and analyze what he says.
It's so fucking broken that I can't breathe. Like, it's so broken. Does anybody understand the world we actually live in?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people understand the world that we live in. A lot of people don't even understand their own world. They're somewhere else. But do you, Gary? Do you understand the world that we live in?
Well, I think college is the worst thing in the world. That kids can't afford to go to college.
If you look,
You need to start a college. You need to start a
You're
free
right.
college. I think that would probably be the
Look at Gary. It's like, what the heck is this chick talking about? I should start my own college. Look at her face. This chick doesn't even know what she's talking about. Gary looks bugged out of his mind right now. He looks lost.
your legacy. I'm going to say it now.
I'm definitely. You know, it's funny when you said 70. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck up college. It ran through my mind. Here's what I would say.
You didn't graduate, or you did?
Yes, I
You
did,
did.
but I went to Mount Ida.
Yep, that's another thing I forgot to mention. This guy actually went to school and actually earned his bachelor's degree. You're gonna see what he says in a little bit. You're gonna see what he says.
College, like, I majored
So what's wrong
in
with that?
what's wrong with it? Literally the mic that we're talking into
Yeah, what does the mic have to do with your school, with your education?
could get admitted to like there's like literally if you're dead people can get into Mount Ida College. Actually, Mount Ida College went out of business recently.
So he went to that college, and because they accept people pretty easily, they're pretty lenient with it. That's an issue with it, I guess.
This is a fun fact. Literally went out of business after 100 plus 200 years. I think UMass Amherst like absorbed it. What's wrong with it? I played Madden for 98% of my college experience.
Now that's not the college fault that you played Madden for that long within college. But a lot of people need to understand about college. By the time you go to college, you're an adult, right? When you go to college, you're responsible for you getting your own education. You're not going to be spoon fed a lot of this stuff, and professors aren't going to be on your ass a lot. Just like in high school and middle school, when teachers were on your ass, like, hey, how come you didn't do your homework? Oh, you did pretty poorly on your test. You have to stay after school to do extra work and stuff like that. No. You go to school, take however many classes, right? Let's say you take 3 classes a semester, right? So you're in class for like 3 hours. The rest of the time, it's whatever. Like within a week, you don't spend too much time within the classroom. You go in there, you get your little lecture and stuff like that. They say, hey, do this assignment. You don't turn this assignment in. That's it. They're not going to trip over it. So when he says he's played Madden, that's his fault. And a lot of other people who said, hey, they didn't learn anything of value, that's because you didn't major in anything of value. You didn't choose to get educated in something that was going to deepen your level of understanding for a particular field. And that's the problem a lot of people get into. They don't understand what they're getting into at all. So 2, 3 years down the line, they're like, I have a major in something that can't even get me employed.
And you got an A in Madden, so that's good. I went
You're
to
preaching.
Emerson College. I
Yes.
showed up the day before with my transcripts. They let me in. They said, what do you want to major in? I said, makeup. They said, okay.
And you hear this broad? Talking about she wanted to major in makeup. That's the biggest thing. When you deepen your understanding of college, you understand what majors and degrees are completely useless. That's the biggest thing with school. That's the biggest thing with college. There's a lot of useless degrees that aren't going to make you a lot of money. Okay? So you need to understand that. You need to know what's going to make you money and what's not. This chick is dumb. Who goes to college for beauty? There's plenty of trade schools and things that matter you could have went to for free to do makeup.
I said, do you have a
That's
makeup
amazing.
program? They said, no. I said, all right, I'll make it up. And I went to Emerson. Now you can't get into Emerson.
I know.
Now it's a tough school.
Yeah, you know, honestly, like
So don't be embarrassed by...
embarrassed.
Okay, fine.
Nobody propagandas it more than me. I post my report card with a 247 out of 251. The only thing I'm proud of in my life is that I'm a shit student. That I fucking spit in the face of the system when nobody else was doing it back.
Look at this guy talking about he spit in the face of the system. If anything, you gave a system a huge hug because you're pretty well off right now. Okay? talking about how he's proud that he was a shit student. How many people you gonna walk to in the street and say, "Hey, I'm proud that I'm a shit student"? It's nothing to be proud about. It's nothing to brag about. That poorly reflects on you, on your character, and people aren't gonna take you seriously.
back then.
But it is not going to work for all the other kids that are listening out there. It's your journey. It's not going
That's
to be
right.
someone else's journey.
Yeah, that's right. And the clarity that I always want to say about college is like, look, if you want to work at Goldman Sachs, you better get good ass grades and you better go to like Wharton and you better go to Harvard. Like, you have to know yourself and know what you want. If you're an entrepreneur,
Right.
if you truly are, here's the scariest scenario with education in America today. You're an entrepreneur and you're passionate about it, and you can't breathe.
And that's the biggest thing. A lot of his messages about school apply to quote unquote entrepreneurs, but he likes to generalize a lot of his statements, right? Um, Things such as college is a scam, blah blah blah. Blah. Listen, you need to be able to discern that for yourself. You need to be able to say, hey, I'm going to school for this. How is this going to benefit me in the long run? How much am I going to make with an entry level job? Am I going to be at a senior level, mid level, by the time I leave this school with this degree? Okay. So when he's talking about entrepreneurs, that's completely different from the rest of the world. If you want to go to school to become a doctor, a nurse, an engineer, um, get into IT and stuff like that, then college is for you. It's totally worth it. But there's a lot of the extra stuff that doesn't matter at all. All these studies degrees, gender studies, um African American studies, things like that, they don't matter. Nobody's gonna employ you with that degree and that major.
Breathe if you don't do it. And you're okay if you make 80,000 a year selling pillows or you go and build an Uber. Like da-da-da. And your parents make you take on debt to go to a shitty college because they want to feel good that you went to college to their other friends. That to me is scary as fuck.
And that is scary. The one good point that he actually made in this video is actually very true. Um a lot of kids feel pressured to go to school because of their parents, because their parents either went to school, or some of them never went to school when they haven't developed the understanding of the college system and what it's really about and what they should actually go to school for. Okay? So they pressure their kids into going to school for something they don't understand at all. And that's why it's upon us, the next generation, to teach our kids the lessons that we learned, to help them develop their level of understanding so that they won't make the same mistakes that our generation did. And a lot of people are learning that now. Like, hey, did I really need to go to school for this? I could have actually did this on my own. I could have took a different route. And there's a couple of back doors to college out people don't know. Like I said earlier about industry certifications, how you can earn industry certifications and turn those certifications into college credits, so it can shave off time, so that not only that you're shaving off time off of college, but your resume is stacked up on another level. Because you have those certifications, you can find employment so that you can actually afford to pay for school as well.
But everyone has different stories and different journeys. See this girl right here?
Yes.
She, when I left Bobby Brown Cosmetics, I went to
Yes.
the Apple store.
Yes.
I had 3 hours of work there. She was such a rock star.
Yes.
I hired her. She's
Yes.
gone to a 2-year college.
Yes.
I don't know where you would have been if I didn't like pick you up that day.
She would be at Vaynermedia running the company.
Well, she now is like everything and does all of our content.
That's right.
Yeah,
Listen,
so-
I mean, D-Rock homeschooled. Like, I don't know where to like it's all the same shit. Tyler's a dope. He got into
Oh,
Penn State
Tyler
because
is not.
guys, Tyler
Tyler
got to
went
Penn
graduated
State.
from Montclair High.
Yeah, but he's a dope. I mean, come on. Like, we're all, listen. Every winner that I like, dope.
Calling these people dopes. Yeah, you definitely be smoking on that dope. Looking all bugged out.
I'm the biggest dope of them all. Like, my
Oh, you definitely are the biggest dope of them all. For real. And the biggest scam artist of them all, too.
definition, like, the reality is, the world changed. College was built to create workers. for an environment that was much more mapped to 1959, and that's wonderful, and it was a great era, and Mazel Tov, and all good. But guess what? If you're taking on debt to go to college today, unless you're going to a top 3% school, you're in deep fucking shit.
So why can't we have a college that the kids are actually entrepreneurs the
They're
whole
going
time?
to. All of this is going to happen.
But then what? I think you and Richard Baker have to do that together. Because
I think people should stop telling people what to do. You should do it.
Yeah, you should take your own advice, buddy. Listen, no matter what you do in life, you're gonna accumulate debt, right? When you go to buy a car, you get a loan, you're in debt. Now you're paying it off, yeah, but as soon as you stop making payments, you're behind. You're in debt. When you go get a house, you're on a mortgage. You have to get a loan from the bank. You're in debt. No matter where you go, you're in debt. Okay. That's just the biggest thing about this country, and we'll talk about the history of debt with the United States in a different video, and a whole bunch of other stuff about money. But for the most part, there's a lot of people who are debt slaves in America today.
no, no. This is more of a Gary thing. I'm sorry. No.
I think what's actually happening is it's already happening without people realizing it. Meaning, one of the things that I'm most excited about, the content that I put out, especially on Instagram, because it skews young, at least for now. It's obviously aging up quickly, which is amazing. You're changing people's thought. I was on a FaceTime with a woman in India yesterday on Snapchat because, Tyler, she won it? Like, what happened? Or did I see her on Twitter? What happened? She won. I was on a 7-minute FaceTime yesterday with a woman who was sitting in India telling me that she has to decide between going to Australia for school or staying in India for 2 more years because she wants to get an Indian citizenship because she's got a Pakistani citizenship and she wants to be discriminated against a little less. It was really powerful, as you can imagine. And I'm sitting there, I'm just thinking about all these things. I'm like, we live in a world where I'm in a car right now talking on FaceTime.
Well, this is going nowhere really fast. We're gonna move on to the next video really quickly.
To someone who's out there, should they be thinking about going to graduate school? Is there still a place for business school masters? I believe there is, because I think fundamentally there's things you're going to learn there, mature,
Yep.
no longer drinking off kegs.
Yep.
What is your advice? Where do you sit with that?
Self-awareness. So if somebody actually thinks they're an entrepreneur at 15, 16 and has proved it, she sells blow pops or she has a website on Shopify. If you are truly an entrepreneur and you are gonna take debt to go to college, I will punch you in the face and try to stop you.
I wish you would punch somebody in the face, Mr. Gary V. I would love to see that happen to somebody.
I couldn't believe in it less. If you wanna work in this building at Boston Consulting,
Which a lot of people don't seem to understand. Listen, when you initially start off your own business, whether you're going to school to get a degree in it, or after high school you plan on, hey, I need to start this business. Most of the time, a lot of people don't even have the money to start their own business. They don't have the cash. They don't have the backing from anybody to start the business. So what do? They take out loan. What's a loan? Accumulating debt because you don't have the money up front.
you better go to something solid undergrad and you better go Ivy League business school because you want to work at Boston Consulting, McKinsey, or Bain, as you mentioned it early. I think you have to figure out what you want in life and work backwards. I am unbelievably down on the business of education in America if you are trying to do entrepreneurial things and or if, you know who I'm most scared of? I'll go to Wisconsin or Michigan or Florida, you know, those kind of schools, and take on debt and think I'm gonna have a good job out of school. Those
No, it all depends on the type of degree that you get and the type of job that you're trying to get out of school. That's just the biggest thing, like I mentioned earlier. Understanding whether what you're majoring in is going to make you a lot of money post college.
great schools kind of in the upper middle class of schools, they're getting suffocated. There's only room for Harvard and Stanford great jobs, but these unbelievably great schools, if mommy and daddy pay for it, and you can go to the big game and you fuck Ohio State if you're Michigan or vice versa and play that whole life and you get 4 years, you get to have some fun, you get to mature a little bit, get out of the house, cool.
Or if you understood that you have to work your ass off throughout high school, get good grades, get scholarships, hey, maybe you get a full ride to school without having somebody pay for it for you. Or it can be discounted, okay?
But only if you want a job, A-Rod. Like, if you want a job,
How about if our audience wants to get rich? What's your advice to them?
I think a lot of people will get rich by having a job. I think there's a lot of people who are number sixes who want to be number ones, and they're coming up with the Uber of dry cleanings, and they're going to lose and go into depression. And so I'm telling them, hey, this entrepreneur thing that you think is cool, you think I'm cool, it fucking sucks. You're lonely, it's all on you. If you lose, it's a scarlet letter. Are you that kid? Because if you went to Horace Mann and then you went to fucking
Damn, Gary, take a deep breath, man. Speaking really fast, bro. Chill.
Yale, you might not be that person. You might be a great number six. And so it's awesome to do that and then go to McKinsey and then become number six at Facebook or number six at a big company and you will become rich. But if you're like me and you're from the dirt and you know
That's a lie. This guy is not from the dirt, like I told you earlier. This guy came from a pretty well off situation.
and you've always known that like sitting in a classroom isn't for you and you've shown a nice knack for flipping sneakers and things of that nature, if your parents are forcing you to go to college because it makes them feel good and you have to take on debt, it's time to stand up and have that conversation.
And would you tell them that take 100 because it's not as cool as job and you're not going to be stimulated, but you make 100, or go make 70, but do it with someone you're going to admire, respect, and they're going to teach you?
I would say take 70, go to a good company that's going to bring you up, that has great leadership, that has a great culture established, right? And that you're going to learn a lot of values that's going to really help you develop your skill set so that you can then brand yourself and then move on to a better job. Or you can possibly move up within that company. That would be my advice instead of shooting for 100, because once you reach that level of 70 to 100K a year, it's not too much of a difference depending on the type of lifestyle that you're trying to live. But even then, making 70K a year is more than enough for a lot of people, unless they want to buy Bugattis and stuff like that, buy these high-end cars, buy a big house or something like that. But to live a really comfortable life, 70 is a sweet spot. You can still have a really good car, pretty decent place, and then some.
You.
I would not only tell them to make 70, I'm very rogue on this. I would tell them to make 0 and live with 9 of their best friends an hour commute away. Like the amount of people
How would you make 0 and live with 9 of your best friends? Best believe, if I call a couple of my homies right now and say, yo, I want to move in with you, bro, but I ain't got no job, but it's coming soon. Bro, it's gonna happen. It's coming soon. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna get rich. Just wait on it, bro. Just wait on it. It's gonna happen. They're gonna they're gonna be like, yo, what are you talking about, bro? All right, have a good day. And best believe, somebody calls me on that type time too, talking about, hey, bro, I'm gonna move in with you. Me and a couple of homies. We making no money, but hey, um, we gonna make it. Come on, man. That's not, that ain't it. That ain't it.
I think
Zero's a tight budget.
yes, it is. But
Yeah, look at A-Rod. 0 is a tight budget.
let me tell you where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Look, obviously, if you had a social media job for your enterprise right now, and like
I would hire you.
respect,
Look at A-Rod. A-Rod's a funny man.
but if you want an internal person, and a kid could either, a lot of people think here free and they think it's about privilege. Well, of course, a white kid with a rich family
You're not answering the question. You're not explaining anything, Gary. You're the spin master.
can go free. Or when I look at my team's makeup, a lot of my not overly well-paid jobs in my company, especially on my team, are people who are just willing to eat shit for 5 years. People aren't willing to pay dues anymore. So to me, here
I believe there's a lot of people out there willing to pay dues. There's a lot of people who've developed a level of understanding of, hey, if I want to get to where I want to go in my life, I have to work hard. I have to plan out a couple steps in advance what I want to do. I'm going to lay out a plan, whether it's a 1 year, 2 year, maybe even a 3 year plan. What's going to be the beginning? What's going to be the steps between the beginning and the middle and the end? Okay? And there's always going to be setbacks, of course, but how are we going to react when setbacks happen? You know, how do we work around setbacks, right? Because there's always going to be a setback when you're trying to reach a goal. That's just a fact of life, and you need to figure out, hey, um, if this setbacks happens at this time, how do we adjust? Okay.
Here's what's up. If you're willing to live in a shitty apartment with 5 people and eat shitty food in your 20s when you can still get away with it, but you get to fucking work with A-Rod because you admire him, and if you crush it then and want to move on, he puts you on, or people know that you're the guy or the girl behind A-Rod Social, that $12 an hour job is a hell of a lot better than working at VaynerMedia for $52K. It just is. So this entire question.
So working for A-Rod for $12.50 an hour is better than working at your company for $50K and living with 5 other people that are broke, eating shitty food. Now tell me if you want to live like that. Hmm? Tell me if you want to live like that.
Is framed in the following. We have lived far too long in our society with one size fits all. Like right now, my biggest fear is that entrepreneurship is cool and everybody's going this route. When I was a kid, it was all school. Now I'm getting fucking 80,000 DMs from these kids like, yo, Gary Vee, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, I just looked at your last 6 posts. You're not an entrepreneur. You're fucking floating on a swan in a fucking pool in the Hamptons this weekend. You're fucking soft.
You gotta live rich to be rich. Like you gotta like show people like that's the
that
illusion.
fake it to
Wait, but okay, so you said
that's
you
my
know,
favorite.
someone
I'm
has
about to throw a chair. You know, I like wrestling. I'm about to hit you with a chair.
No,
That's how
I'm
much
just
I hate
telling
that
you,
shit.
this is
That's what you heard,
You were
right?
saying you were
how I
going to
fake
jump
my
up. I
way
think you
into
want to throw
A-Rod.
him off.
Fucking
I just
hate-
told him I worked for him.
I get
and
it.
I worked for him.
I get it.
All right, but so you said the vision, like you have to
Yes.
have the vision. What about a guy like myself
Yep.
who basically like just kind of aimlessly walked through life and then one day, you know, joined Barstool and blogged? Like I'd say I'm the majority where it's like kind of figure it out later. Like
Yeah.
future me problem.
By the way, couldn't agree more because of the framework that we have in modern day parenting and society. We've had it too good. Like, you know, you could afford to aimlessly be fucking ridiculous and not think about shit.
I mean, I had a job. I wasn't like
I mean, I don't think that's the truth at all. We're getting towards a point where a lot of people are starting to wake up to a lot of the BS that's going on in today's society. And you got to understand, you got to be on your you got to be on your A game, because if you think you're going to walk around the world aimlessly and go with the flow and not have a real plan, there's going to be a great event in your life or a great failure that's going to happen and bring you down and set you back for a very long time. Okay? That's why you need to constantly think about what's next. Okay?
totally
Respect.
aimless. But I had a job. My point is more like
My
I
point-
went to college, then I
Yep.
got out of college,
Yep.
and I just like
You
all
were
right, well, what do
sold.
I do now?
You were sold.
All right, I'll just do this job.
100%. And guess what? Then you get a job and you get a certain amount of money, and then you buy dumb shit, which then forces you to stay in that job because fuck, you have an extra bedroom you didn't need, or a fucking pair of Jordans that you didn't need. Like it's a fucking cycle. And so to me, it's like
Exactly. It's called consumers. Listen, you have to live within your means. If you're making 70K a year, don't buy a 100K um dollar house. Don't buy a super fancy car that you can't afford the monthly payment for. Don't move into an apartment that you can't afford to pay the rent for. Things like that. Alright? Just live a stable, comfortable life, right? Do you want something really bad, then save up for it. Other than that, just don't rush into it, okay?
look, happiness needs to be the ROI. You want to make 42 a year and hockey's your favorite thing ever and you work for fucking the NHL on a shitty job forever, shitty by pay standards. Look, rich can't be the ROI. Some people are driven by money and legacy and admiration. We all have our different shit. But you have, and by the way, you have to figure out what makes you happy. And for a lot of people, the chase of rich or success or notoriety is that you have to make it about the game, about the thrill of the hunt. And that's a million different versions. And then you just have to stop worrying about what people think of.
That's just a different way of enjoying the hustle. What, like, do you not just understand what you just said? Hold up, let's go back real quick.
You have to make it about the game, about the thrill of the hunt. You have to, and by the way, you have to figure out what makes you happy. And for a lot of people, the chase of rich or success or notoriety is that. You have to make it about
And in the process of you chasing whatever you're chasing, you obtain the thrill of it. That's why you're chasing it, because you want it so bad. Now, a lot of people don't have that level of focus and that level of motivation um to chase something that they really want and really invest a lot of time into it, right? A lot of people aren't disciplined, a lot of people aren't focused, okay? Cool. Um but the people who are focused, the people who are disciplined and really have a goal in mind that they want to reach, that's where the thrill comes in. When they start achieving certain goals, when they start checking shit off their list, that's the thrill.
the game, about the thrill of the
That's the
hunt.
game.
And that's a million different versions. And then you just have to stop worrying about what people think of you. The biggest reason most people are unhappy is they buy shit based on judgment of others.
But this is pretty much it for the video, guys. Don't feed into a lot of the pseudo motivational BS that a lot of these people are talking about, because they have no idea what they're talking about. This guy is clearly bugged out of his mind. Um, like he said, he's a dope. So yeah, just don't fall for a lot of this BS that a lot of these people are talking about on the internet. This fake motivation and things of that matter, right? Just gain wisdom, gain knowledge. If you know better, do better. Live your life with discretion and discernment. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys.